All right, good morning. Morning number 2 in the van. Slept for about 10 hours right now, just unbelievably peaceful. I can't explain how quiet and wonderful these campgrounds are. It's just, I've never experienced anything like this. In the United States, there's always somebody being rowdy. And here, they just follow the rules. It's pretty fucking cool. So anyway, we're on the north coast now. We're going to be heading up the Troll Peninsula today to Akureyri. I'm hoping to play a really cool golf course called Siglo. We'll see if that happens. If not, no bigs. This is going really well. We're ahead of schedule. I feel like the luckiest person on the planet right now. I'll check you guys later. The luckiest person on the planet. That's really a good way of saying it. That's what I felt like that morning. As you can see, at a really, really cool campground in Skagastrand. There's the aforementioned disc golf that I availed myself of. And then it was back on the road. So as I said before, we're going on the Trollaskagi Peninsula today. I thought that would be a cool way to approach Akureyri instead of just taking the inland route, which I've heard is one of the blander stretches of road in all of Iceland. So yeah, I opted for the more scenic route. The Trollaskagi Peninsula just sort of shoots out into the ocean on the north side of Iceland, and you drive through some really scenic little cities along the way. And as I mentioned in the intro there, Siglo and Siglfjordur was one of my destinations for today, as I know you guys are just, eagerly anticipating the golf content, but don't worry, we won't be there for a few minutes. So the first town I encountered this day was Hafsås, and then after that, I just kind of, there wasn't a whole lot until I hit Siglfjordur. Dalvik and Olafsfjordur were also very beautiful little stops, but I spent most of my time in Siglfjordur because of the golf course. But I also did just kind of pull off a number of times at, picnic areas and little pullouts along the way. Have some beef jerky, make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, make sure the seagulls don't steal it from you. And there just weren't a lot of people around, either on the road or off to the side of the road. So it was a really cool area to just be very solitary and, just really have some uninterrupted time to think and reflect on the big questions, you know what I mean? So this is a really cool piece of road leading into Akureyri. And yeah, I definitely was very, very glad I made the decision to go out on the coast instead of stay inland. And this right here was some sort of what appeared to be a settlement era artifact, or just at least something really old. But the placard explaining what it was in Icelandic, and I haven't had any luck finding out what it was in English. So if any one of the 10 of you who watch this video knows anything about that, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'd be very interested. Okay, so now we are in Siglfjordur. This is just a very beautiful seaside fishing village, and on this particular day they were working on the avalanche mitigation up on the hill, and this helicopter pilot was certifiably insane. They were just going nuts with or without those giant pieces of metal tied to the helicopter. It was super, super impressive to watch. But as you can see, this is just a very beautiful place. A lot of information out on the street talking about the history of the city and the fishing industry and how the locals, along with the Russians and the Norwegians, pretty much fished the place dry and had to figure out a way to come back from that. And there's also a little row of museums there that were in the shot at the beginning that really explain how the fishing process works locally. But that all comes secondary to the fact that Siglofjordur is home to a golf course that I've just never really seen anything like it. And obviously, I know you guys aren't here for the golf content, but this is one place to really pay attention to because you just don't see things like this very often. So this course was set just a little bit out of town, up the hill, so you could still look back and see the ocean and see the fjord, but you could also see these snow-capped mountains and these big fields of the purple lupin, and there was a big stand of mature trees, which, you just don't really see in Iceland all that often. So there was just kind of a little bit of everything on this golf course, and the natural beauty was just really second to none. They had a rough winter, so the greens were still coming back. But as I've said before, if you're a golfer who's looking for manicured courses, definitely don't bother, playing golf in Iceland. It's a different type of golf. It's a more wild type of golf. Probably more like what golf looked like, before modern technology. And for me personally, that's what I was looking for. So this was right up my alley. And I'm just going to go ahead and let the rest of the footage speak for itself because this was a very, very special place and a very special day. Well, I hope you guys found that part at least somewhat interesting and can acknowledge how pretty that was. And now, speaking of interesting and pretty, we are in Akureyri, one of my favorite places in all of Iceland. This town's just great. It's just like Reykjavik. It has a very unique character that's all its own. It's just a really fun, bustling metropolis. It doesn't take itself too seriously. On this particular day, I'm not exactly sure what they said it was. I believe they said it was Iceland Day. Boy, that's difficult to say. Iceland Day. And they said a lot of young people had come up from the south. So, yeah, obviously there's a lot of hijinks in the streets of Akureyri. And as I whined about earlier in the video, there was some hijinks in the campground. I didn't have to end up taking a nap, by the way. That was just grumpy morning Stuart talking. But anyway, guys, I love Akureyri. It's the capital of the north. You've got to get up there when you visit Iceland. Spend at least a day. There's tons of fun stuff to do. Great golf course in Akureyri itself. And yeah, that's going to do it for day 3 here. And we'll get right back with a really impressive day 4 in the next episode. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by.